Hey guys, we hope that you enjoyed the day one really well. So this is a quick walkthrough of how you should have played day one. Alright, so I guess you guys received a screen like this after clicking the link that we sent you in the group. So it says click play to enter the room of requirement. A total of 10 clues are scattered over the room. An ultimate clue to crack the password to the next level is given in the room too. Alright, so you have to click play. Since we said that 10 clues are scattered, you should have hovered your mouse over and then looking for the cursor to change into a pointer. After a few minutes, you would have seen something like this. So the clue for the locations in level 1. So the first one is, it says green lantern, alright. So you have to go and see the green lantern one, which is this one. And then the next one is, think about the other name for this event and you'll know which item to look for. And the other name for this event is treasure hunt. So you have to look for this treasure box, the second one. And then the third one is, day one is a preliminary to know who's good enough to be dash, which is sorted. If you had read the first ever link that we sent you a few days ago, you would have gotten this one. So that would be the third one. And then things need to be orderly kept in this item, alright. So that is like easy one. This is a cupboard and people keep things over there to, orderly maintain the stuffs. So that is the fourth one. And then fifth one is, you will need this item after a shower. So that would be this. That is a towel. So that is that. And a fragrant liquid typically made from essential oils extracted from flowers and spices used to give a pleasant smell to one's body. Okay, so if you like copy and then go to Chrome and then paste it, you'll get that it is a perfume, alright. So if you go over there and these little bottles over here, they look like perfume. So that is the sixth one and then the eighth one. And then carved or cast figure or person. So if you, same thing, if you copy and paste this in Google, you'll get that it's the definition of statue. So that's the seventh one. And then looks like someone ate a half of it. So this one looks like someone ate a half of whatever it is. So that's the ninth one. And then 10th one, do not confine yourself, set yourself free. That's just another word, another sentence that points to a cage. So that's the 10th one. So that's the locations. The next thing is answers for the level 1. The first one is film, green and burn. So that is filigree burn, alright. Brackets, they indicate which letter of the word you should pick up from that word. So fifth letter means G. So like that, everything. So this is filigree burn and this is crocodile flash burn and this is raindrop pigmentation, and this is Mickey fin, and this is saw scale viper, this is battered baby syndrome, and this is washerwoman's hand, this is Pape's roll, punch drunk syndrome, I-card test. So if you follow the brackets, you'll get a anagram that is called gun math think. Alright, this is anagram. And then we have said that we've given the ultimate clue, that is, does it look dyslexic? Wave your wonderful wand, it becomes significant. So what do we mean by that is, this looks dyslexic, alright. So if you use your knowledge and crack this, you'll get McNaughton. That's what we mean by that. So the password is McNaughton. So the next thing is, you have to go to this checkpoint meeting ID, alright. Copy it, go to Zoom, join a meeting, enter it, and then whatever your team number was. So like FC, I'm just giving an example. And the password would be McNaughton, right? So you give join meeting and you would have gotten this screen, right? So you would have gotten this display when you have logged into the Zoom, alright. So brilliant, you just destroy the Horcrux called Ravenclaw's diadem using your fire of knowledge, because the Ravenclaw's diadem was actually hidden in the room of requirement. Alright, if even if you haven't seen Harry Potter, that's what that is. So that's why you have destroyed it by crossing level 1. Alright, so now you're going to level 2. So question for level 2 is connection, and you have to connect this. Okay, so this is Raki and Tan and Sky, so it's Roki Tansky, and what it says is fly away in your broomstick to the next location, a place filled with filters and hashtag. Use what you found. Good luck on level 2 wizards and witches. Alright, so what you have to do is you have to think about what is a place filled with filters and hashtag. So what is that place? That place is obviously Instagram, because that's a place filled with filters and hashtags, and that's a place where you use hashtags a lot. So I've headed to Instagram, and now I have to use what I found. So what have I found? I found Roki Tansky. And it says you have entered the Chamber of Secrets. Nice. So, and then it says PS, open Insta and PC your lab and click the link, or else technical difficulty will arise. If you have opened this in your phone, if you have gone to Instagram in your phone and tried clicking this, the submit option wouldn't have come. I'm opening the Instagram in my PC, and then I'm doing this. So like it says over here, so that no technical difficulties will arise. Alright, so next one is there's a post over here. Let's go and see this. So this is a Castle Mayor test. Nice, right? So next thing is same. So they're giving the same clue. Use what they have found out. Okay, so there is a link over here. Let me click it. It's asking me a password, so I'm gonna use what I found. That is Castle Mayor test. Castle Mayor test, and this is opened. So you have destroyed the Horcrux called Tom Riddle's diary. So those of you who don't know, who haven't watched Harry Potter, Tom Riddle's diary is hidden in the Chamber of Secrets. So okay, let's keep going. Same. Okay, so do you see like a familiarity with the bracket numbers? This means that you have to pick that letter up, the 7th letter or whatever the bracket says, that letter from that word. Alright, so this is contact and this is paler. Alright, so contact, paler, and the 7th letter of contact, paler is actually T, and then this is Ippy noodles, and then this is actually daytime, and then this is Mike, and that is a drop, and this is saying C. Alright, so that is epidemic drop C, and the 5th letter from that is actually E. Okay, and then the next one is, this is paw, and this is a ding dong, so that's just ding, and then this is a signature, the sign, so that is a Spalding sign, and the 7th letter of Spalding sign is actually N, and then this is a beer, and then there's dial, and then there's a lion, and this is a system, so that's a Bertillon system. So the 4th letter of that is T, and then this is neck, and this is row, and this is a file, and this is an aw, that's a baby saying aw, so necrophilia, and the 8th letter of necrophilia is I, and then this is a hair, and this is ward, this is actually ward. Okay, ward has all these beds and stuff, and then this is a person that is crying, so it's, I mean baby that's crying, so it's crying, and then this is Terry, we've given that Terry, so this is a baby saying ah. This Harvard criteria, and the 4th letter of Harvard criteria is V, and then so this is actually penal, it's a penalty card, so penal eraser, and the 6th letter of that is E, and then this is anthrophagy. We have again given it as a letter for you, and the 10th letter of this is actually H. So, and then again the same clue we have given. Does it appear dyslexic? So you would have, after you picked up all the letters that we mentioned and then you arranged it, you would have gotten something called TENTIVEH, tentiva, something like that. So it appears dyslexic. So, and you have to again use a knowledge, and then you have to crack that. And the answer to that anagram is Thevetin, which is a group of poisonous cardiac glycosides. This is the next checkpoint meeting ID. So let me just go and join it. So what does it say? It says recognize this. Yeah, I recognize this. This is just the rules video. We've told you a million times to watch the rules video again and again. That this is why we said this, because we've given a screenshot from that video so that you'll be able to recognize this. This is a screenshot from the video. So it says, well, that's the Gone Family Shack. Okay, that doesn't matter. As for the description, okay, it says as for the description, you have to go to this YouTube video and then you have to go and look at the description. That's what it means. And then give them the same password you used to enter this place, and they will lead you to the next Horcrux. So what was the password we used to enter this place? It was Tevitan, right? Okay, keep that in mind. Now let's leave the meeting because we've read the instruction. Leave the meeting and then we'll go to YouTube. So in the description there would have been a link. Now it's not there, but there would have been a link. And if you click that link, you would have got directed to this document over here. It says Gone Family Shack. So you know, right? You understand that you are in the correct place. So Gone Family Shack, and you are going to use the same password that is there. I'm going to enter it. And voila, you have entered the Gone Family Shack successfully. Finish level 3 to destroy the Horcrux hallmark on the box ring. Alright, click here to enter level 3. So this is level 3, alright. So the first question is the following pictures or the symptoms of. Click to flip. Okay, so the first picture is actually subdural hemorrhage, and the second picture is actually retinal hemorrhage, and the third picture is actually hypoxic encephalopathy, alright. And this is actually a triad of shaken baby syndrome. So if you click next, you would have gotten a password protected PDF, and all you have to do is small letters, no space. The passwords are always like that. Shaken baby syndrome. Enter. Okay. So we get the option to go to the next question. It's actually an easy question after you get the clue. So 67-year-old man sought medical help after 3 days of lightheadedness, vertigo, stabbing chest pain, cough, chills and headache. His wife experienced similar ailments over there. Okay, this is a clue. This sentence right here, it kind of explains that it has something to do with them living together, right? It could be their house, it could be some place they went together. So you could have gotten that clue over there. And then he was admitted, evaluated and discharged with a diagnosis of viral syndrome. Carbon monoxide is confused with two things if you have seen in Narayan Reddy. One of them is viral syndrome and the other one is food poisoning. So he would have gotten diarrhea, if you can see. So it's actually like a really atypical presentation, but this question is not wrong, right? So this is correct and this is verified. So 4 days later, he again returned to the ER, diarrhea and severe chest pain, collapsing to the floor. He was admitted to the coronary care unit with acute myocardial infarction. Body was sent for postmortem due to suspicion by the family members what is the likely cause of death. So after a few minutes, like we would have given you this clue. This is the house of the old man, and you would have instantly got that this is carbon monoxide poisoning. So that is carbon monoxide poisoning, and you will be directed to the question 3. Question 3 is actually a video question and it doesn't have any sound. So this guy is spraying something to this dress, and you can see that after he's spraying, there is something that is the violet color that is forming. It's actually a little bit inaccurate because it's taken from a movie scene. But what he's spraying is actually luminol. So luminol actually has a chemiluminescence property. So if you spray it and there is blood present in like really small quantities, and you will be able to visualize it in a darkened room or under UV light. So that's actually detecting latent evidence. Alright, so that is why we have asked what type of evidence is it, and it's the luminol is mainly used to detect latent blood at crime scene. So the evidence is latent evidence. So you type that in, and will be directed to question 4. Which hemorrhage is mostly noted over anterior surface and margins of lungs? A really easy question. It's called off hemorrhage. So we've even given pictures for that. So that is Pultov and no plural, no Pultovs and all. Just small letter, no space. Question 5. So, a girl was found dead in her house. You received the requisition and a copy of inquest to conduct an autopsy on her body. On external examination, you find several stab wounds on her chest. So, it means, so there is several stab wounds already on her chest. So, it obviously means it's a homicide. And you also find the wound which is shown in this picture. What could it possibly be? Okay, it's a homicide and you find something like this in her arm. So, it must be defense wound. Defense wound with a C, because that was the spelling in Narayan Reddy also. So this one, so it's actually like this picture is to find out the name of the drug, because there are a lot of date rape drugs, right? So this is like, this person is suffering from flu. People who drink the drink after it's been adulterated with that drug, they get amnesia. So that's why we've given this picture. So if you combine all this, you'll know that it's actually a flunitrazepam. That's the drug name. And then you can click for question 7. The most preferred compound for preserving charred document is, and look, there's something over here. Remember 9 and 4. Okay, it doesn't make sense, right? Yeah, it won't make sense right now, but it says remember 9, 4. So it's better if you go and remember it, okay? So just 9, let me write 9 and 4 for now, and then let me keep it, alright? So the most preferred compound for preserving charred documents is actually polyvinyl acetate. So let me write that down. Polyvinyl acetate, and you will be directed to question 8. Question 8 is on 4th December 1985. So this signifies it's actually winter. Okay, a woman's body was discovered in dense shrubbery in a partial undressed condition in New Jersey. So they are partially undressed. In addition to articles of clothing, liquor bottles were found near her body. The woman was known to have abused alcohol. There are no signs of sexual assault. What condition the woman could have suffered from? So all of this clue, they point towards hide-and-die syndrome. Okay, so in hide-and-die syndrome, there is paradoxical undressing, which is confused with sexual assault, but it's not. And a common risk factor for that is alcohol intoxication, which was also mentioned here. So it's hide-and-die syndrome. Hey, look at this. There's remember 8, 7. There's 2 more numbers. So let me go and write that down. And then I'm going to type in hide-and-die syndrome.
A few moments later.
So we'll be directed to question 9. Question 9 is actually something, it says I mimic someone else but I'm not that. So all of these symptoms over here, fever, leukocytosis, multiple organ failure and hypertension, all of this they mimic sepsis. But it's not sepsis, it's actually pseudo-sepsis, which is seen in salicylate poisoning, methamphetamine poisoning, etc. So it's actually pseudo-sepsis. Pseudo-sepsis. And click here for the last question to destroy the last Horcrux of the day. If you've come here, you're almost there. Alright, so this drug right here, it gives a creamy white color to the Mayer's reagent and a olive purple color to the Marcus reagent, and it gives a brownish black color to Frodis reagent. So what drug do you think matches all these criteria? It's actually opium. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go, it's the end of level 3. So let me paste the thing that I've copied, and then your team number, let's say it's 23, and we're gonna join it. And the passcode is opium, which you've just found. And then I'm going to click join meeting. So once you've entered the meeting, you'll find something like this. So it says you've destroyed the Marvolo Gaunt's ring because you already entered the Gaunt's shack, right? Gaunt's family shack. So now we've destroyed the Marvolo Gaunt ring. So it says one more step to reach day 2. Answer this last question to the host. If you are right, your team will be added to the day 2 WhatsApp group soon. Kindly leave the meeting after answering. The host won't tell you if you have answered right or wrong. Oh, and look, there is another remember 172. First, you have to be quick, right? So you have to answer these questions to the host. So first thing is, if you are to relate this with the PM change, what would it be? Okay, what is she doing over here? She's actually casting a spell on Neville, and he is like stupefied. So he's going rigid. So a PM change that is most likely to be related to this would be rigor mortis, right? So I'm gonna go on and I'm gonna tell it to the host. I'm gonna tell him that it's rigor mortis. Okay. And then I'm gonna leave the meeting. Because the host won't tell me if it is right or wrong. If you are right, you would be added to the group. That's all. Okay. So that, my dear witches and wizards, is the end of day 1. Okay. We'll similarly walk you through day 2 too, so stay tuned. Hope you guys enjoyed day 2 as much as you enjoyed day 1. Alright, on day 2 you would have been provided with the 15 location like this over here. And so what is the 15 location? Yes, you should have first read it and have an insight on it, so that you'll be able to find out where bonus questions are. So let's get into it. And then we would have sent you the first clue. So let's take a look at the first clue. The first clue was, okay, this is at the first sight it would be like, what is this, right? And then, okay, that's why we've given the clue. A shift of 3, I used it to protect. Ask Suetonius, he wrote about me. Okay, if you guys went and searched about Suetonius in Chrome, you would have gotten an idea about the fact that he wrote a lot of things about emperors, Roman emperors and all. Mainly he wrote about Julius Caesar. That is a person who used the Caesar cipher. Okay, he used it to protect his messages so that his enemies won't be able to read his messages. So what he did was he used a lot of shifts. All right, so if in this question, in this particular clue, we've given that there is a shift of 3, which means that you have to first of all write the alphabets from A to Z in a sheet of paper, and then now we've given that there's a shift of 3, and shift of 3 means you have to start again, you have to write down the alphabets from A to Z, but this time you have to write it under the alphabet that you have already wrote, but this time you have to start writing A from the 4th one, because there's a shift of 3. And what is the 4th alphabet? A, B, C and D, right? So from D you have to start writing the A, B, C, D. Alright, so now there is a shift of 3, and at the end X, Y, Z wouldn't have a place, right? Wouldn't have a match with the alphabet that you have already written, right? So you have to write X, Y, Z in front of the A, B, C, which already had a gap because you started from D, right? So now if you match the first the alphabet that you wrote and the second alphabet that you wrote, you'll find that M stands for J, J stands for M, and F stands for I, and K stands for N, and F stands for again I, P stands for S, and Q stands for T, and O stands for R, and V stands for Y. So you would have gotten something called ministry, okay? And now if you already had an insight on the location names, you would have noticed that there is something named Ministry of Forensic Medicine. So that is the first one that you have to open. But what did we say? We said that the first clue is what you have to use to open the instruction PDF in the first place, right? So first let's open the instruction PDF and then we'll go to the Ministry of Forensic Medicine. Alright, so the password for this is ministry. So if you had typed in ministry, you would have opened the instruction for day 2 PDF. Okay, so what does it say? It says that the 15 location has been given and the list of the location name has been given, and then it would have given instruction on how the password should be. Okay, that's what it is over here. But and then it would have told you main important thing is that you have to look out for bonus questions. So the first question is this one. So this poem is about two duo. They're called as William Burke and William Hare. They were, they originated in the Scottish lands in the 19th century. So what they did was they went and they killed a number of people, and then they sold their corpses to someone called Robert Knox for his dissection at his anatomy lectures. Okay, so that is what is meant by for Knox's teaching. These paragraphs go on to describe about how they kill the victim. They usually get the victims drunk and then they mount them and then stifle them, that is they actually suffocate them. So the crime they committed is called as burking. If you go on to the Google Chrome and if you search about these two people like William Burke and William Hare, you will be able to know more information on them. Okay, let's see what's given here. It says open 2 doors to reduce a chore. So it means that you have to use the answer to this to open 2 doors, to open 2 documents. Okay, so and then the next one is, remember the first clue, fly away. Okay, what was the first clue? It was ministry, right? We never touched the ministry document, so now it is a time to go and open the ministry document. It's over here. So if you open the ministry document and put on the password Burking, you'll have the ministry document. Okay, so this is a question, and okay, you know the question, right? So how will you analyze the box? Okay, let's have it at that. And then there's another question. Okay, and then this is the clue to go to the next, to find out which location it is to go to next. And then this is, oh look, this one, do you remember this one, right? We were collecting from day 1, right? So before I forget it, let me go and note this down. Okay, oh, and these 3 numbers was noted down from the last checkpoint of day 1. Okay, so I'm gonna note down 6, and then let me go back. Okay, now before we go on to these questions, it was written to open 2 doors, right? What could be the other door? Okay, what is something that is related to ministry in all these PDFs? Or we could go to this location and look. Negligence alley, no way connected with ministry, right? Madam Malkin's antidote for all location, no way connected. So if you go over each one of this, it will not be connected, nothing will be connected except headmaster's office. Headmaster's office and ministry, kind of related, right? I know this clue is kind of really hard to find, and that is why we would have given you a document which looks something like this. This document is actually, I don't know if you found this out, but this document is actually clues for where the bonus questions are hidden. Okay, so if you take a look at this document, it says Gringotts over here. Okay, he would have been too occupied by this guy over here, but actually the clue is this one, Gringotts. So we actually have a location called Gringotts, and then this was given to tell you about the Deathly Hallows, so that was also a location. And this one right here, this is the clue that we are looking for. This is the headmaster thing. Okay, principal is also called a headmaster, so headmaster's office. Okay, so we're gonna go and open the headmaster's office with the same password, which is Burking. So if you had clicked here, you would have gotten this Google form. So this Google form, it says you sure have ready to sure. That is if you answer these bonus questions right. So what was the bonus question? The first one was a picture, this picture, and this picture is actually nothing but cavet test. If you had answered this, okay, let me type something down. And the second one is actually this. This is actually Marquez reagent. Marquez reagent gives different colors for different drugs. So this is Marquez reagent. And a member from our team, a Horcrux Hunt team, would have been monitoring the responses. So if you had answered correctly, you would have received a picture which looks like this. So what it says is clues for a question in where the Ministry of Forensic Medicine, right? So it says it is used to analyze inks and dyes while still on paper, illicit drugs and fibers. Main use is that it is used to analyze evidences without causing destruction of them. Okay, it doesn't ring a bell. If you read this question, you can see that without any means of opening the cage, that is, we are preserving the evidence, alright. In such cases, we'll be using something called Raman spectrometry. So that is the answer for this question, okay. You can go and read more about it. It's really interesting. And then the next one is, for this question, it's actually the woman, she'd been writing on her New Year diary, and she was dead on 2nd January. So she wrote it on the 1st January page, and then it was torn off, right? But still they discovered something, and on the second page it was still empty, nothing was written, but they still found out who murdered, and it was written that it was mentioned in the diary. So how did they discover if the first page was torn off? So that is, they did it using a method called electrostatic detection apparatus, ESDA, okay. You can also do more research on that too. So that's the answer for this, and we are given instruction on how to arrive at the password. We have to use the first word of each answer, right? So this would be Raman, and we said that if there was an abbreviated form, we have to use the abbreviated form, right? So we have to use ESDA here as the password, and then you would have been wondering on what to do later. So that's why you have to click over here. Listen carefully to the video.
Tell me, what would I get if I added powdered root of asphodel to an infusion of wormwood?
Alright, let me explain. So asphodel is actually, back in the day, if you search about asphodel, actually used as an antidote for snake bite, but that's not really important. And the next one, wormwood, he said wormwood, that is also not that much of the pertaining to the clue. I mean, you can get something from this, that asphodel is used as an antidote for poison, alright, snake poison. And wormwood is actually, we get artemisinin from wormwood, which is actually used as an anti-malaria drug. Not just in Harry Potter, but also in real life. But a very long time ago, it was thought that Bezoar was an antidote for common poisons. But a lot of research went on, and they realized that it was not. But in one research, they found out that it can actually serve as an antidote for arsenic poisoning. That is because Bezoar contains a lot of phosphate in it, and if you ingest it, it will replace the arsenate with the phosphate, and it will help in glycolysis. And the other two things were Moxor and Wolfsbane, which you know that it's the other name for aconite. They are cardiac poison. You might get confused with that. You have to go to a location that has the name antidote in it, that is Madame Malkin's antidote. But that's a catch. You have to go to Poison Cauldron. So from that clue, we derived that we have to go to the place called Poison Cauldron as the next stop. And what was the password? Like I said, Raman ESDA. Okay, so you've destroyed now the Horcrux called Helga Hufflepuff's cup by coming so far. Okay. So far, on day 1, you have destroyed the Horcruxes, Rowena Ravenclaw's diadem, and then you destroy the Tom Riddle's diary, and then you destroy the Marlborough Gaunt's ring. And now you have destroyed the Helga Hufflepuff's cup. Okay, so for this one, so have a Kit Kat, have a good day, have a great day, let's start a chat, help me find my matching set. This is the catch over here, my matching set. Something similar to chart, and which is also called as cart, chart, they're all, and cart and chart is the same thing. So it is also called as Catha edulis, and it's chewed for its stimulant effects. It's actually psychedelic, and it actually produces effects that are similar to those caused by amphetamine. So find my matching set is actually amphetamine. And the next one is this interesting case over here is also called as, okay, let's listen to the case.
It is one of the most bizarre medical histories in recent memory, and Dr. still can't explain it. A team of medical workers collapsed, apparently after inhaling fumes coming from the body of a dying woman.
The incident that hospitalized 6 medical workers, including 1 doctor. was so alarming to the staff that the emergency room was evacuated to the parking lot. It has not yet been determined what caused the emergency room workers to fall ill while treating a cancer patient who had been brought in by ambulance.
So as you can see, so far they're talking about a cancer patient. She's actually called Gloria MMS. You can go and search more about her. What happened was she came in to the hospital, and the health workers, they actually got sick because of some kind of fumes coming from her, some ammonia smell coming from her. You can go and search more about it. And it was a theory was formulated on how it happened. So the theory goes like this. Actually, a compound called dimethyl sulfone, which is DMSO2, was found in the woman's blood, and DMSO2 is actually a metabolic product of DMSO, a solvent which is used by cancer patients and athletes as a pain remedy. So what the theory says is that due to the woman's use of DMSO under she actually had urinary blockage, and what happened was DMSO accumulated in her bloodstream, and the oxygen the paramedics gave her in the ambulance converted the DMSO in her blood into a highly concentrated amount of DMSO2, and some unknown catalyst, perhaps the electric defibrillation, which they did, converts the DMSO2 into DMSO4 and induces unhealthy effects. Alright, so this is just for your knowledge. This was one of the theories formulated, but it was not confirmed. Okay, but what was the question? The only thing that we asked was, what was this woman, this case was also referred to as. So if you had googled it already, she is also called the toxic lady, and we shouldn't be using the articles and all in the password. So the part that you're going to be using for the password is actually toxic, and the first one was amphetamine. So the password is amphetamine toxic. Now, where do you think you should go to next? For that, you have to go and look at the clue, right? So this was a clue which was given: feeding off of loneliness and despair, dementors do breed. What do they guard? What is their creed? Okay, if you had gone and searched about dementors, you would have known for a fact that dementors guard the Azkaban prison in Harry Potter. So that is the next location. But before that, we found out that in the last location, that is a ministry, that they were talking about poison, right? And we gave a clue about a bonus location, and it was called as Deathly Hollows, right? So if you eat poison, you die. So maybe you should check out the Deathly Hollows, right? Anyways, it is a bonus place, and maybe the poison place which you entered using Raman ESDA possibly could be the password for Deathly Hollows, right? Because all the video said was about poisons and antidotes. Yeah, you would have gotten confused with Madam Malkin's antidote for all occasions, sure, but that was wrong. But because the whole point is that there was 15 PDFs given, and there is only actually 5 locations that was valid, right? So some location may or may not be the clue for, may or may not be included, right? So these are all like time bombs. Yeah, let's have a look at the Deathly Hollows. So let's type in the same password that you typed to enter poison cauldron, right? And voila, wow, you get something over here. And if you click this, you would have gotten a Google form that goes like this. You have come the wrong way, but you have stumbled upon a bonus question. Good for you. Okay, let's try this out. So let's put in some number. Must be a number. Okay, so you have to answer in capitals and leave space wherever required, but it's actually manually corrected. So a doctor's holy grail for medicine is actually Harrison's. Alright, that's what we mean by here. And then the trial to find dry particles produced by grinding, crushing or disintegration of a solid particle. If you had googled find dry particles produced by grinding, crushing or disintegration of a solid particle, it would have given, if you would have known that it's actually definition for powder, okay? Because this test is actually used to find firearm discharge residues, okay? And especially to detect the presence of antimony, barium and lead. So the numbers given over here, the 51 indicates antimony, 56 indicates barium and 82 indicates lead. So what it says is for number 51 there is a wavelength of 590 to 620 nanometer. What that means is if you do the whole Harrison-Gilroy test procedure, which you can read, if you go and search Harrison-Gilroy test, they'll tell you on how to do the test. So if you do that and an orange color occurs, which is actually indicated by 590 to 620 nanometer, that is actually orange. So if orange color is there, it confirms the presence of antimony. After that, sodium rhodocyanide is added, and if red color appears, it means that barium or lead is present. So that is 56 or 82. So it's actually like if we tell you the procedure, then it will not be, it will be like direct, right? So that's why we are only giving you the wavelength. So actually after we add the sodium rhodocyanide, it becomes red color. So red color is has a wavelength of 700 nanometer. If red color appears, it can either be lead or barium. So now you have to find out if it's lead or barium. So after that, they will be adding in that procedure 1:20 HCl, okay? And if red color changes into blue, that is, if the wavelength changes from 380 to 500 nanometer, then it is for sure 82. And 82 is what? 82 is lead. So what does this nanometer indicate? It indicates blue color, alright? And if red just persists and it doesn't change, then it indicates that barium is present. So you know how to differentiate between lead and barium, okay? And the answer to this question is actually Harrison and Gilroy test, okay? So that's the bonus question. That is one of the bonus questions. So we found out what this clue is for and what this clue is for, and that's only one left, that is the Gringotts. So let me go and see what is that full name. So that full name is actually Gringotts Wizarding Police, right? So it's actually something related to prison. So you do know that the Dementors got the Azkaban prison, right? So why not we open both Azkaban prison and the Gringotts Wizarding Police with the password that we know, right? Okay, let's go ahead and open both of them. So Azkaban prison, I'm gonna be opening it with the password. What did we found out over there? It was amphetamine toxic, right? So let me open this, and let me also go over and let me also click the Gringotts one. Gringotts. Let me also open it using the same password, amphetamine toxic, and yeah, it does open. So if you click here, you'll be getting a bonus question, another bonus question. So it's actually a pretty easy one. All you have to find out is who is the father of C according to the following blocks. Okay, so the C has these two VNTRs over here, and so let's just first go with this one. So it has two VNTRs over here. This one, it cannot come from a mom, it has to have come from either one of the dad, and this one for sure it should have come from mom. So let's just say it has come from mom, and you don't know whether it's come from dad or mom, but this for sure it hasn't come from mom. So let's see if who could possibly be the father. It could either be F2 or F3, right? Okay, let's go ahead and compare the VNTR B probe. So this again we cannot decide. So let's go to this one. So this must have come from F2. Okay, cool, we are almost there. So, and this one, okay, we cannot decide for this one, so let's decide for this one. This one should have come from F2 again. So this one, F2 has this one F2, no sorry, this one F2 has this one, and here also F2 has it, so it must be F2. So that's the answer for this one, okay? So you've answered the bonus question that puts you forward in the leaderboard. So let's go ahead and answer the real one, the real questions, the Azkaban prison one. So as a physician, you decide to forcibly feed a feeble hunger striker. Okay, the answer for this one is actually Article 21. And why is it Article 21? It's Article 21 because Article 21 says that you don't have a right to die. You can have the right to live, but you don't have the right to die. So you cannot just let. That is also one of the bases in which you will be able to feed the hunger striker. So the answer to this one is Article 21. And the next one is certain mentally retarded women in a government aided mental asylum. This question is actually based off of a real event that happened. First of all, the answer to this question is parens patriae, and it means that if a patient is conscious and refuses treatment without which that person might endanger his or her life, then the surgeon can inform the judicial magistrate and get the sovereign power of guardianship over persons under disability, and that is called parens patriae, okay? And what happened was in Pune, state actually ordered the mentally retarded people in the mental asylum to undergo hysterectomy. Actually, for some people, some women over there were orphan and some had their parents. So people who had the parents, they did receive consent from the parents, but for the mentally retarded women who were orphaned, they just they just used parents patriae. So under the premise of parents patriae, they made them go hysterectomy, which was actually a huge controversy that happened. You can also go and search about this one. So the answer to this is parents patriae. So we said that if there is a number, we have to use the number in the password, and the first word of this one is parents. So the answer would be 21 parents. And where do we have to go to next? Hollering out in the void. Can nobody hear these people? They hear voices. They're left with no other choices. Okay. So hollering means shouting. Okay. And there is also a location called Shrieking Shack, if you had gone over the location. So Shrieking Shack is shrieking also means shouting. The other thing is that they're talking about psychologically affected people. Okay, so let's find out Shrieking Shack. And the password is 21 parents. Parents, that is PARENS, and patriae, that is PATRIAE. Okay, you can search more about it. And now we have destroyed the Horcrux called Nagini, which is this snake over here. So the next question is actually a really interesting question. If you have read it, you would know. So the answer to this question is folia dux, and that means madness for two. It's also known as shared psychosis or shared delusional disorder. It's actually a psychiatric syndrome in which symptoms of a delusional belief and sometimes hallucination are transmitted from one individual to another. And as you can see, that has happened over here. The beliefs of the mother, it has taken a toll over the daughter. So that is called as folia dux. So folie is the first word. And the next one is, this one is a really easy question, common one, Capgras syndrome, right? So the password to the next one is folie Capgras. So what's the if you I'm sorry that I'm not reading over the question. You can pause and read the question if you have forgotten the question. Okay, so what is the next one? I'm sure you're waiting. Oh wow, we are ending. We are almost reaching our last location. That's cool, right? I mean, there was 15 PDFs and all you have to do is answer 5. That's cool. So I'm sure you're very lightened up because the last destination that you will have to head to is where you should go and relax. Okay, now this is where you'll think that you have to go to the sweet shop, but that is just a time bomb. You can think of a lot of things to go over, but that's actually, the answer is actually Hogwarts Theatre. You have to go to the Hogwarts Theatre. And let's put the password. Let's type in the password. The password was folie Capgras. I typed it wrong. Okay, no. Theatre, right? So there are 2 videos and you have to relate the videos with forensic medicine. So let's click on the first video. Okay, so in this video we can see what is called the McEwan sign. So what happens in McEwan sign is that pupils are initially contracted, but on external painful stimulation of the person, in which you can see in the video, the pupil is getting dilated. So that is McEwan sign, and that is the answer to this question. Let's click on the next video. That was a fun video, but let's learn forensic medicine from that. And it's a really easy question. The thing thrown by the hero was Molotov cocktail. Molotov cocktail is an incendiary bomb which is thrown by the hand, and it's in a crude type of this bomb. A bottle is filled with gasoline and a rack to serve as a wick. The wick is lighted and thrown at the target. That was what happened, right? So, and something is given over here. It says the password for this location alone is just the first 4 letters of each answer put together. Okay, what was the first answer? It was McEwan sign, right? So the first 4 letter of McEwan was MCEW, and the next 4. What was the next answer? It was Molotov cocktail, right? So first 4 letter of the next answer was MOLO. So the password would be MCEW MOLO, and if you had gone to this meeting ID and you entered that password, you would have seen something like this. So what does it say over here is bad news. It's not quite over it. Want to reach the final battle? Yes, yeah. So just speak to the clues. Okay, what? Speak to the clues? I mean, really? Okay. It's bad news because you still haven't finished it, because there's just one more step. I mean, after all this, you still haven't finished. That's bad news. And good news is Salazar Slytherin's locket has been destroyed. So, okay, so far you have destroyed 6 Horcruxes. Amazing, right? So, hey, look, something that we've been dealing with right since the first day, right? Now we have to remember something, 2 numbers, 6 and 3. Okay, let me go back to that. Let me put another 6 and another 3. And hey, oh my god, there is like 10 numbers over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there's 10 numbers over here. And it also says talk to the clues over here, right? Something is connected, right? Yeah, if you remove all these commas, you realize it's actually a phone number. So all you have to do is you have to save that number and you have to text to that number. And if you had texted that number, you would have realized that that number is actually Hermione. So that was the end of day 2, Wizards and Witches. Let's go on and look at day 3, Witches and Wizards. Day 3 is pretty simple. It's not simple, but it's a fusion of both Harry Potter and forensic medicine. So the answer to these clues is as follows. These are the answer to the clues. Compare the, you can have the questions in one hand, that is the across and down in one hand and one tab, and then look at the answers to this. So you encounter a fully grown mundane troll losing the castle, what will you do? And if you had remembered the rules video, it would have said to go and ask Hermione for help. If you had gone and asked Hermione for help, she would have given you this Instagram account called I'm Dumbledore Official, and there would have been certain clues over here. So one of the clues is how in the Harry Potter movie they would have encountered a mountain troll, and what would have happened is Ron would have uttered a spell that stopped it. So if after this you could have gone and searched about it, and you would have understood that the answer for that is actually Wingardium Leviosa. So that is what that's the answer over here. And the Instagram contains clues to things that you might have found difficult. So the other thing is encountering a Bogart. So here Hermione tells what a Bogart is, and further in this video we'll see about how they encounter a Bogart. They use a spell. We would have given you a crossword, and we would have also given you a drive which contains 3 things, right? Ingredients, professor and spell. Based on whatever I said before, you realize that you have to go to spell, and then you have to find out which spell is actually apt and which spell has the actual question, because the the 3 folders, that is the spell, the ingredient and professor, they have so many questions inside them, but only 15 are the real one, right? So you have to find that out, and using these clues you can find it. The first one, the troll thing, was Wingardium Leviosa, and the Bogart question, which can be seen over here, a Bogart in the shape of your biggest fear is approaching you, what will you do? And the answer to that is ridiculous, and that clue was given in that Instagram, and if you had done more research on it, you would have understood that it's actually, first of all, you would have gotten a clue that it was, you should have to go and look at the spell part, because they were using their wands and everything. What you had to do was, you had to go to the drive, you had to go to look at, you had to open ridiculous, and the question would have been there. We'll discuss about the forensic medicine, the real questions which are inside these things which you have to find out. We'll discuss about that later. I'll be discussing only about the 15 questions, the real 15 questions that you were supposed to answer, okay, and not the fake questions. You can search more about this fake question later if you have interest, but we will be discussing only about the actual questions. So we'll be discussing about that later, but I'm just telling you right now how it works, how it should have worked. So then, and what else is present over here? this video, this shows a greeting card. So this is something related to love, right? Some clue related to love. Okay, listen carefully. So here he actually says love potion. So if you had listened using earphone, you would have heard that he is talking about love potion. And what was that? Love is in the air tonight, he says. More like in this potion you whisper, that's amor. That's actually the love potion. You realize that this is something to do with ingredient. I mean, it's obviously not a spell and it's not a professor, so you have to go and look in the ingredient. That the first one is amortentia, so you had to go and find the question for this one, find the answer for this one. So let me one more time tell it clearly, super clearly. First, you see a cross. First clue: you encounter a fully grown mountain troll loose in the castle. What would you do? The answer is just now I explained. It's a Wingardium Leviosa, and you had to go back to the drive. You had to guess whether it was an ingredient or professor or spell. I mean, guess or research in the Google, or use I am Dumbledore, that is the Instagram account, and find out whether it's an ingredient or professor or spell. So we just found out that it was a spell. So you have to go inside the spell folder, and you have to see what spell it was. We just found out that it was Wingardium Leviosa. So click Wingardium Leviosa. So the answer to this question is actually Riot Crush. Like I said, we'll discuss about it later. So you have to go back to this crossword, and this was 1 across, so you have to find out which is 1 across. This is 1 across, and you should put RIOTCRUSH. That's it. That's how you do it. Okay, I hope you get the point. So what was the last clue over here? Antidote to common poison. Okay, so this picture is given so that you know that there is something called antidote to common poison exists. Okay, so what is the clue over here relating to poison? Bertie Bott's every flavor bean sent to you have been poisoned. You are now really sick. What will save you from this poisoning? Okay, so actually, if you go and googled antidote for common poison, you would have found out that there are more than one ingredient for that. So if you come back to the drive and you go back and you go and open the ingredient folder, so in Google they would have told you what ingredient make up antidote to common poison. It includes Bezor, and then it includes standard ingredient, and then it includes unicorn horn, and then it includes mistletoe berry. The answer to down 8th question is actually, that question is spread over all these ingredients. So you have to open Bezor. So this question is given. You can pause it and read it. It also says find the cause of death by exploring around. You found 1 ingredient, 3 more to go. So it's made up of 4 ingredient. If you go ahead and look at Bezor, and then you look at standard ingredient, if you click standard ingredient, you will find the continuation of the question. It will be giving CNS autopsy finding, GIT autopsy finding, musculoskeletal autopsy finding. So go back and then go to the next ingredient, mistletoe berry. So it will give you the most important autopsy finding for this question here, this one, and then unicorn horn. It would give you this finding. So you have to explore around and find all the 4 ingredient. That's how you find out the question in the first place for that. And the answer to that question is actually tension pneumothorax. So 8 down, right? So you had to write tension pneumothorax over here. Alright. So the link to this, the answer to this is actually no big deal. Okay. So the hard ones for them, the clues were given in the Instagram, and the other things, if you had just googled it, the answer would have come directly. And all you had to do was go into that drive and find out whether it's a professor or ingredient or spell, and you should have found the answer. So you can find the link to this, the answer to each clue in the description. So let's move on to the real questions. Only certain things warrants a lot of explanation. The link to this, along with the filled out crossword, can be found in the description. This first question is easy, and the second question, the video which shows catatonia, is also easy. And the third question is actually the whole story of Jeffrey Dahmer. Okay, he's a serial killer. If you can go and search Jeffrey Dahmer, and the whole story would pop out, and this is the poem that pertains to the story. So I'll just give you an explanation of what is considered hard. And this one is an image of Declaration of Sydney. It took place in Sydney, and he's a chairperson of the event. The chairperson is this guy, and his name is Sir Leonard Malin. And okay, this one is actually thallium poisoning. Let me explain to you why it's thallium poisoning. It says an invisibility cloak I wear. Invisibility cloak means it is colorless, odorless, tasteless, so cannot be detected easily. And it says mischief is a group of rats. Okay, it means that it is used as a rodenticide. It causes butterfly rashes and alopecia. So the crown is a head, and unadorned. Leave your crown unadorned. It means, hair falls, alopecia. So a smidge of an ounce and you gasp to your tomb. That means that 1 gram is fatal. Even 1 gram is fatal. And then you gasp to your tomb. It means that respiratory distress, cause of death. And if you at all survive that, nerves will still be affected, and at the end you end up dying. So that's thallium poisoning. And the next question, if you had read the full question, which was split in the 4 ingredients, if you didn't, you can go and read the question one more time. So the explanation for that is, the boy, he ascended a plane and it caused him a pneumothorax. What happened in this case was that his right lung burst slightly in the apex region because he already had asthma, and it was weakened. That the apex region was weakened by asthma, and in some patients actually the apex is weak due to a congenital pleural bleb. After that, he was using his inhaler, right? So every breath he took caused more air to enter the pleural cavity, thus increasing the thoracic pressure and decreasing respiratory and cardiac function, and eventually causing cardiorespiratory arrest. So the raised thoracic pressure also accounts for the bulging veins in his neck. This is agitation pneumothorax. And so in this case, you would have read that even though those people attempted to murder that guy, the guy actually died because he didn't receive proper treatment from the doctor. So this is actually an example of novus actus intravenous, which means that a new intervening act is actually the cause of death for this person. The doctor totally could have saved the person, but he didn't. So this is a case of novus actus intravenous. And this question, let me explain why it is the answer for this is superfetation. Alright, so chala is of mother nature. It means that we are actually pertaining to the womb here. And first there will be a fetus already over there, right? After that, another one will fertilize. So there will be 2 fetuses inside. So one of them is actually mentioning the story of Goliath and David, right? It's a famous story. And so the fetuses, they both won't be getting balanced nutrition from the mother. So one of the fetus is a well nutrition, so that is a Goliath, the big one. And David is a small guy, right, in the story. So one of the fetus is small, not so much well nourished. So he is called as David. So in that story, what happens is David kills Goliath. The small guy kills the big guy. But here there is a twist in the tale, because the small one dies instead of the giant from the story. So and then there is something mentioned called a chatum. Chatum is actually paper. So paper like flattened will be the dead fetus. That is called fetal papillaceous. So David died here, and Goliath left the chalais full of life. That's the thing. So that's superfetation. Remember, the link for the Harry Potter clues answer is there in the YouTube description, and the answer to the real forensic medicine question, that is also in the YouTube description, and the written out crossword answers in the crossword is also there in the YouTube description. So you notice these purple things over here. So if you had orderly noted down those purple things from 1 to 15, you would have gotten anagram that spells out in a really weird way. Let me write it down for you. the anagram is IOR. And the answer to this is actually superimposition. So if you had tracked that, the first 10 letter from that is the password for the Zoom checkpoint which we had sent, and the people who submitted the fastest is a winner. That was the end of day 1, day 2 and day 3 which is in visits. Hope you all had fun and hope you all learned something. Hope it really was worth the excitement. Thank you very much for participating in this event. We really hope to hear great feedbacks from you guys.